So what we will do today, we will learn identity access management permissions. Like did you anybody observe this? When we try to log into AWS account, we will see two options. One is root user, which is administrator, and the other one is IAM user. IAM is nothing but identity access management. You forget this one. No one can log in as a root user in the organization. Everybody is an IAM user. Even the owner, whoever, the top Amazon Web Services account. For example, there is a company called Microsoft. They have a AWS account. The owner of that Microsoft also an IAM user. A root user exists, just one user, but nobody can do nothing with a root user. Everybody is an IAM user. What is the difference between the root user and IAM user, right? You're telling us, like, everybody is an IAM user. IAM is nothing but identity access management. And what is the difference between root user and IAM user? So a root user is nothing but administrator for this account. Okay, who is the administrator for this account? This guy is administrator for this account, and he could do anything he can create volumes, he can create instances, he can create S3 buckets, he can create IAMs, he can do anything he wants. But the thing is, he can break anything he wants, right? He can break anything he wants, and accidentally he could break some stuff as well. Not intentionally, but accidentally. That's good. Yes, IAM user has a limited access. And how you can say a limited access, right? That's the thing we are going to discuss today. Okay. And excuse me. So he could terminate an instance. When you try to log in as a root user, accidentally you could terminate an instance, which is not good. Or you could create resources that are not necessary, and you will be paying for those resources, which is not good. So like that. Okay. So in order to control the permissions, these AWS people, they have a service called IAM, Identity Access Management. For example, let me explain. Let me pick my chart, and once we understand everything and what we are going to do, we will just actually, let me close this browser first. I want to close this browser. Yeah, so let's open this. Okay, just click here. Yes. So this is complete AWS account. Okay. And this is the EC2 component, for example. Okay. And for this EC2 component, right? What I have a two DevOps engineers, or systems administrators, or cloud engineers, or site reliability engineers, or they can call with the different names. Okay, I have a two DevOps engineers. They should have access to build instances, create resources for instances. What are the resources? EBS volumes, AMIs, all those things. They should have access to all those details. Who are these two people? DevOps engineers, for example. Okay, DevOps engineers. Okay, and I have three developers. For example, this is just an example. Okay, three developers. They don't need to build servers actually. So they need a computer, which is virtual computer, which is easy to instance. In our scenario, they need to have that computer access in order to test their code, deploy their code, for example, deploy their code. So they don't need to have a complete access, like a writable access, terminatable access. No, all they need to do, they need to have a just readable access for these computers. What are these computers? Virtual computers, which are nothing but EC2 instances in our scenario. And we have got two more testers as well. The manual tester, okay, they should have the same similar permissions, right? And we have a database administrator, for example, and we have a MySQL database or Postgres database, whatever database inside AWS. And we have a database administrator, one database administrator, for example, okay, DB admin, okay. And this database administrator should have access to only DB. He doesn't need to have access to our EC2 or EBS or snapshots or no, right? He should have only access to his DB. And these testers, developers should have only, for example, all these things, just examples, have access to, readable access to the servers. These DevOps people or whoever, they're building the infrastructure, they should have access to writable permissions as well to instances. How we are gonna manage all those things? So this is the security. Basically, you are controlling permissions, nothing but you are managing the security. People ask, can you explain me your security details, like how you guys manage security, what you guys do? Hey, we use IAM, okay, to control the permissions. We give limited, access to the developers, and we don't give access them to, provision the servers and everything. And we just give them readable permissions to jobs that we create, the Jenkins jobs, so that they can use the jobs, but they cannot make any changes to the jobs and things like that. Okay. Am I clear? Everybody understood this concept?
Yes.
I need yes from Divya. Divya, did you understand this concept?
Yes, Vishnu.
Madhavi, are you there?
Yeah, I got it, Vishnu.
Okay. Vanita, did you understand that?
Yes, Vishnu.
Okay. So now we will apply. What we will do, we will create an IAM user and we will limit permissions to that IAM user. Limited, we can give limited access. Okay. In order to create an IAM user, in order to create a root user, in order to create a user in Linux, you should have what privileges? You should have a root privileges, right? You should be a root user in order to create a root user, in order to create any user, not only root user. You should be a root user in order to create a user. That's why we used sudo, right? Sudo is nothing but super user do, right? At the same way, in order to create an IAM user, either you should be an IAM user with an IAM access, or you should be a root user, which is nothing but administrator. Let me create two IAM users and let's see what happens. Let me log into my AWS console. I logged into my AWS console. Okay. And what I will do, I can go to IAM.
Vishnu, one second, I have a small doubt. Is a super user and a root user is the same?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But
Super user is nothing but root user. Yes.
okay, when we did instance in the last week, but when we creating users, the EC2 user is not a root user, right?
Yeah, but easy to user have a root privileges, and we're telling computer, hey, this user have a root privileges. If he has a root privileges, that sudo command will work. Sudo, you logged in as a EC2 user, but you are telling the computer that you are a root user by saying that you are a sudo. You are putting that sudo, right? Sudo command. That means that sudo can mask that EC2 user And basically he will be running that command as a root user.
Okay.
Did I answer your
So
question?
yeah, so that means both is same, right?
No, it's not the same. EC2 user is only EC2 user. But if he has the root privileges, right? If he is in the sudoers file, he could do
Okay.
operations as a normal user, or he will be able to do operations like a root user as well.
Like a root user. Okay.
There are two ways you could do it. Okay. If you want to do operation like root user operation, for example, adding user, you should be providing like a sudo. He doesn't want to add any users. He just want to create a directory. He could create a directory as a EC2 user only, right? He doesn't have to provide any CD, any sudo, right?
Yeah.
Like that. So a user can be a user. A user should be a user. A user can be a root user as well. Okay.
Okay.
A root user itself is a user, and he is a root user. But a user can be a root user. A user cannot be a root user. Am I confusing you guys?
But I got it.
Yeah, let me clarify that. So, for example, this is a user, right? This is a user, and he can be a root user. Okay. And he doesn't have to be a root user. He can be a root user, but he doesn't have to be a root user. Okay, just a normal user. Okay. But this guy, he is a root user. He is a root user. And he is also normal user as well. Okay. In our case, EC2. This guy is EC2. He is a normal user and also a root user. In this case, Jenkins. We created Jenkins user, right? For example, he is a normal user. Normal user. He doesn't have to be a root user. He can be a root user. Can be. There is a possibility that he can be a root user, and he doesn't have to be a root user, right? If we want us to have this Jenkins guy as a root user, we need to add this Jenkins guy to sudo spy. And if you don't want this Jenkins guy to access your system like a root privileges, you doesn't have to give him that root privileges. So he cannot be a root user. He is just a normal user. Okay. Did I answer your question, guys?
Got it, Vishnu.
Yes, I can take that as a yes. And let's go to our topic. Okay. So I logged into AWS console, navigated to IAM. Just whatever the service that I want to go, I can search for the service here. Okay. Let's say you guys are in the market and somebody asking, some service that you don't know from AWS, right? And after the call, you couldn't able to answer that guy question after the call. What you could do, you could just come here and look for that service and just click on the service, and you will see the documentation and everything, what the service do and everything like that. Which is very useful. You see that groups, policies and everything. It's very useful. Okay. Let's click on the IAM. That is what today's topic. Okay. And a user will get permissions from the group. A user does not have any permissions. Every user should be attached to a group. The group should have a permissions, automatically the user will get the same permissions as the group has. Okay, don't be confused, it's very easy and very simple. Let's create an IAM user. This is the IAM dashboard, like a EC2 dashboard. You see that I have 4 user groups, 1 user, 10 roles, 4 policies. I know we will see what those are. Let's go to users, right? And let's create an user, add a user. We will create 2 users actually. So we will see how that, excuse me, permissions things work. Okay. What I will do, I can give like, EC2 permissions, username, something like that. And I can give programmatic access or enter password. Okay. I can give just a custom password, it should be fine. Okay. And this, you see that require password reset. On the first login, user should require password reset. Sometimes you guys will get links from banks or links from any of the shopping or blah 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 accounts, right? They will, what they will do, hey, can you change your password on your first attempt? If if you work with a company or whatever, they will send you a link and they will ask you to change your password on first sign in attempt, right? This is something it looks like. But I don't need to require change the password. Okay, I'll just leave that. And next permissions, you see that I'm creating a group, right? The group, no, sorry, for my bad. I was creating a user. The user will get the permissions from this group. Okay, we are not attaching any permissions to user. Basically, we are attaching permissions to the group. We are adding that user to the group. So the user automatically will get the same permissions from the group. Am I clear? Can someone say yes?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So you see that this group, let's create a group. Let me delete all these things. Let me show you from the beginning. Okay.
Vishnu,
Yes.
yeah, adding git bash, we added sudo add sudo user. Is it same as this and that?
No. That is the you could be a IAM user, but what we are doing there, that's a EC2 user for the server. That is user for the computer. Computer
Oh.
means virtual computer. This guy is user for your AWS account, your infrastructure, not for the computer.
Okay,
Okay?
okay.
And this
Okay.
guy will be able to access your computer as well. But the computer
Oh,
guy, he won't be able to access all this
all
service.
the-
Okay.
okay, Vishnu.
Yeah, so I can delete this existing group later, but let me create a new group. Okay. And I can create a group called web EC2 group, something like that, anything. Okay. And what I will do, I will give EC2 full permissions for this guy. I can give EC2 full access. These are the permissions. These are the policies, permissions. Okay. These permissions will be attached to this group basically. Okay. And we are adding that user to this group. You see that? So that user automatically will get the same permissions from this group. Okay. And this group has what permissions? EC2 full permissions. And he is not supposed to have any other permissions except EC2. He should have only EC2 access. Other than that, he should not have any access. And we'll try that. And we'll see how does that work. So the tags play very, very vital role. It's very important role. Based on the tags only, environments will be divided. Like, you know, ENV. ENV is nothing but environment. Dev. This is belongs to dev and things like that. Okay, but for now, we don't need to create any tags and create a user. Okay, when you create a user, you see that there will be a download CSV file. What you will have in this CSV file? You will have username and you will have a link and access key and secret key. You see that this is the access key and this is the secret key, and we'll talk about that. What is access key and what is secret key? Okay, let me download this file. Okay, and you see that this is the link so that I can log in as a IAM user. But before that, right, let me create one more user with the different permissions. Okay, and create one more user. I will be able to create a user because I'm logged in as an administrator, right? So this time what I will do, I can control the permissions to different service limited access, and let's see how it looks like. What I will do, I can give IAM user this time. Okay, and I can give programmatic access. I can give, you know, password access. I can just give custom password. I don't need to waste time to change the password because this is not like a secured environment, and I don't need to change the password on the first attempt. And next, and now I can create a new group with a different permissions, not easy to full permissions. Okay, and the group name IAM full permissions, for nothing but permissions. Okay, IAM full something like that. You see that I can give, these are the default policies from AWS. So they have default policies as well. Okay, these are the default policies. You see that policy name, policies from the AWS. Okay, and create a group, and I am adding this IAM, whatever the user that I'm creating, to different group. You see that, not that whatever the group that, not this group. This is the group that I created earlier, right? And this, I'm adding this second guy to the different group. So the second guy should have a different permissions, and the first guy should have a different permissions. And the next tags, and we don't need to attach any tags. And then let's go and create a user. And you see that this is the same, similar, and this guy have access to here as well. You see that when I open this file, you see that this is the username, and this is the access key, secret key, and this is a URL to log into that user. Okay, let's pick this URL. Let's see, and let's go to AWS Management Console. I can click on this. You see that IAM, sign in as IAM user. Okay, what is the username? Seriously, Vishnu. What is the username? Easy to some permissions or something like that, right? Let's see. Let's go and copy. Where is that user details? Okay. Where are they? Seriously? Yeah, right here. Right here. Show in folder. Open that file. And let's log in as a first user. This is the username, right? EC2 permissions is the username. Let's go here and provide that username and provide the password. Okay. If you see the right side on the top, so you have these permissions for this AWS account, for this account. You see that? So IAM user, this is your username. And let's see what he could do. Okay. Okay. Now he should have a limited access, right? Let's go to IAM and try to create one more IAM user. What did you say? You do not have the permissions required to perform this operation. Ask your administrator to add permissions. What that means is, you see that the user, this is called user ARN, is not authorized to perform get account or whatever. He is not authorized to add an IAM user. This is the only guy, he can have only access to EC2 instances, because when we create a group, we added a new policy to have just EC2 permissions. And let's see, let's confirm whether that guy has only EC2 permissions or not. And we can see that. Okay, click on that EC2. Let's try to terminate that instance that I have. If he has a full access, right, EC2 full access, he could create, delete, terminate, whatever he could do. He could do that to that instance. Okay. And we'll log in as a different user and we'll try to create an instance as well. Okay. Yeah, we did not see error this time. You see that he'll be able to see that console management, like, EC2 console, EC2 dashboard, and he'll be able to terminate the instance as well. So he's good. He's supposed to have access to only EC2, and he's have access to, like, he's now have access to only EC2, right? And we are good with it. And let's log out and log in as a different user. Okay. Sign out. Log back in. This time as a different user. Okay. We will log in as a different user. Let's see. IAM user, right? Okay. That's a username. Okay. You will be given that username as well. And you will be given like a multi-factor authentication links, how you need to set up your multi-factor authentication in each companies. Okay. This is no. Yes. Click on that. And IAM user, right? And the password, I gave the password. Okay. Now let's try to create an EC2 instance with this IAM user. Okay. And we are not supposed to have permissions to create EC2 user, because this guy has a limited permissions. Right? What are those limited permissions? Only IAM. This guy is limited to only IAM. Some when you get requirement, you might see identity access management, IAM guy, and things like that. That means he could deal with only IAM. If somebody, one of your colleague reached out to you, if you are IAM administrator, right? One of your colleague reached out to you and he will ask you, hey, I cannot access S3 bucket. You can go log in, click on his user name, and check his group, what group he assigned to, and that group doesn't have S3 policy. And hey, you don't have a permissions to IAM. You're not supposed to have a permissions to S3 or whatever. Okay. If they have a ticket, hey, this is what you need to do. Have a ticket. Can you give me access? All you need to do, go there, whatever the group that he assigned to, add that S3 policies to that group. That's it. That's all you need to do for the whole day. Sometimes try to create an instance and let's see what happens. You see that an error occurred. You are not authorized to perform this operation. Let's go to IAM. Okay. Let's go to IAM and try to delete all those IAM users over there. Okay. You see that we did not see that error this time. You see that add multi-factor authentication. That's what companies does. They will send you a link to add multi-factor authentication. You'll be given your username, like you see that this IAM user, right? You'll be given username and you will be adding your you will be an IAM user. It's 100% IAM user. There is no 99%. 100% you will be an IAM user. Okay. And let's go to users. Okay. And this is the user that we logged in, and delete other users because he has writable permissions. If he delete the user, he can create the user as well, right? Hey, most people, 90% of people, they will ask, hey, what is the difference between role and a policy? A role is nothing but who you are. Okay, an IAM role is nothing but who you are. Okay, and a policy is nothing but what you can do. Okay, a role is nothing but who you are, and a policy is nothing but what you can do. Okay. Why I cannot delete this guy? Okay, let's try it one more. Okay, this is what I need to do. You see that EC2 for me SIONS. Hopefully this will work. Login profile for EC2 permissions cannot be modified while login profile is being created. What does that mean? Login profile for EC2 permissions cannot be modified while login profile is being created. Okay, let's try one more time.
Vishnu, you are in IAM user. That is the why it is showing like that.
Yeah, but this IAM user should have a permissions, all those permissions, right? Because he has complete IAM full permissions. You see that this guy has IAM full permissions. That means he can create a user, he can delete a user.
Delete. Okay. Mhm.
EC2 permissions. Okay, let's copy from here. And we were able to delete the other user, right? Yeah, this time actually I was typing spelling wrong. That was the issue. My bad. So you see that. So he couldn't able to access EC2, but he could able to access IAM because he is supposed to have access to only IAM. Okay. When you guys watch this video, I want you to guys write it down. What is an IAM and what is the difference between role and a policy? a role is nothing but who you are, like what, who you are. The role is the identity of you, your role. Like, let's say you are an IAM user, like it will tell us like who you are. And a policy is nothing but what you could do, like what permissions that you have, what you could do is the policy. Okay, are we clear with the identity access management? This is all about identity access management. Are we clear?
Yes.
Vishnu.
Okay, so you guys don't have any doubt, like what is this access key and secret key, right? Okay, what is this access key and secret key? How you can use those access key and secret key? For example, I wanna install a security tool, or I wanna add something, to the instance, but I don't have a console access. Like I wanna write a script, I wanna run a script, right? For example, I don't have a console access. I don't need to go to console. I want to do it from here. Let's say that guy has EC2 full permissions, right? For example, the other guy, who is the other guy? Yeah, no, those files gone. Okay, let's try to open those files again. Okay, if I click on here, maybe I can see them. No, yeah, this guy has a, you see that EC2 permissions guy. He should have a full permissions, right? But we deleted this user. So what you could do is you could configure these credentials to your CLI using this command. Okay, AWS configure. Okay, you see that access key? You need to configure your access key. Right now I have this access key, but I just deleted that user. And configure your secret key. You see that there is a secret key, right? For example, if you go here and if you open this document, you see the first one is access key and the second one is secret key. And you can configure your secret key as well. Just copy from here and paste it there. And by default region, US is to 2. If you want to configure a different region, you could do that. Just, I don't want any default format out. That's fine. Okay. Now I have access keys and secret keys over there, and I can write anything. Let's say I want to create an IAM user, right? For example, I can write a script to create an IAM user. I can run the script from here, like a bash script, shell script, or Ansible script, or Python script, whatever script. Because this server, this MacBook has the credentials already. What credentials this MacBook has? Access key and a secret key. An IAM user can have 2 types of authentication credentials. One is username and password. You go to AWS console and you log in with your username and password. Same way, from CLI, you will be, configuring your username and not username and password. You will be configuring your access key and secret key, and you will be executing script from your computer. So this computer have a permissions. What permissions? The same user that has a permissions, right? Whatever the permissions that guy has, and this computer also automatically will have those permissions. So what we will be doing is we'll be writing simple automation script, and we'll be executing that automation script to create an instance. But this time we'll be doing that as an IAM user in our next class. Okay, any doubts? IAM user, any questions, any doubts?
So when you logged in as that user using the keys, right? The secret key. So is it like logging with the username and password? So can you log in here with the username and password as you did with the secret key?
So this access key and secret key will be used for, let's say you have an instance, right? You connect to that instance, right? For example, you connect to that instance and you create a folder, or you create a file, or you want to do something. You want to install Apache web server, or you want to install some security tool like Jenkins, for example, right? all those details you need to connect to that server, for example. Okay.
Mhm.
So what I can do, I can write a script to do that, and I'll write a script. I'll execute the script, but that script should have access to that your AWS to do that, right?
Mhm.
I'm not providing any username and password to that script. What I'll be providing access key and secret key instead of username and password. It's the same way
Okay.
when you try to authenticate your GitHub server, you will be providing your public SSH key to the GitHub, and you have
Mhm.
your private key, and you are cloning using that public and a private key pair, right? The same
Yes.
way, when you want to authenticate, when you want to create a resources, right? For example, let's go here. Since we are here, for example, AWS CLI command, whatever we did on the management console, that means whatever the resource that we created, or whatever the instance that we created, EBS volume that we created, everything can be done from the CLI as well, from the command line
Oh,
as well. Okay, and we'll see simple example actually. And let's go to AWS CLI command to create EC2 instance, for example, right? And in order to create an EC2 instance, what are the details that I need to provide? I need to provide the security group name, instance type, AMI, tags, if I want to provide any tags, subnet, and availability zone, all those details, right? Same thing. I need to provide all those details from CLI as well. And we will see how does that work. Like, we're not gonna execute the script, but I'll tell you how it works. Okay, you see that? So what the prerequisite is, you have a key pair security group. Okay, this is the command that you need to do. AWS easy to run instances. To launch an instance, you see that this is the script that you need to do. All you need to do, just copy the script. Okay, replace this value. This is Windows laptop, right? This is Windows, right? You could provide like a Linux, and this is your key pair name, and this is your security group, and this is your subnet. Okay, and replace this with your VPC, and replace with this your ENI. Okay, if you don't have anything, just leave it alone. It's gonna create a DNS for you, and replace this, all these things, this default value.
Vishnu, are these details provided by, I mean, like any of our team members or someone in the real time?
Yes, yes, you will be
Okay.
so this security groups, subnets, and VPCs, right?
Uh-huh.
They'll be created only once. they they won't be created in each time. They'll be created only once, because the subnet is nothing but sub networking of your VPC is nothing but network, the whole network won't be changed, right? Network will be the same all the time. The whole network will be the same, right? And the subnets, you are dividing your network into sub networking. And for example, I have a very simple simple example. I have a VPC with a 5,000 networks, for example, 5,000 IPs, I can say 5K IP address. Okay, IPs. Network is nothing but just group of instances, not group of instances. It's IP. Like when we take this network, right? Verizon, Comcast. What that router does is a router allocate an IP address for each device that connected to that router, actually that internet basically. Okay, like I said, I have a VPC with a 5,000 IP addresses, right? I can divide this VPC into two subnets. Okay, 2,500 2.5K here, and a 2.5K here. Okay, and I can configure with this one. I can call this one as a public subnet, for example, and I can configure this as a private subnet. And they won't change. They are the same for every time, years and years and years. If they want to migrate the whole systems into new application, like new AWS, or right now they're using ECS here, they want to migrate to EKS or something else, right? They would configure all these details again, but it's once again, just one time. And inside subnet, and they will have a security group. That's where you are controlling the access to that server, right? Remember, we were unable to access that HTTP because that security group is rejecting our request. You are trying to request the instance using HTTP, but security group is not allowing. Because why? You don't have that role that you don't have that role with that security group associated with that instance. What you did go to that security group and you change the role. Security group is only one security group for database systems, one security group for web servers, and one security group for application servers. And it won't change in real time. It won't change. It will be the same. All time it will be the same. Okay. So did I answer your question, Ramya?
Yes, Vishnu.
Okay. Is there anybody have the same question actually? My bad. I was gonna